Dopamine. You all know dopamine. It's that wonderful chemical that makes you feel good when you do something good, like scoring high on a test, or even doing something not so good, like bumping a line of baby powder. Yeah, baby powder. Either way, dopamine is your feel-good neurochemical. But what is dopamine anyways? Firstly, we want to understand what dopamine even is. For starters, it's a monoamine neurotransmitter. Now, I didn't know what that was 5 minutes ago, so I presume you didn't either. Let's break it down. Monoamine means dopamine is derived from a single amino acid called tyrosine. A neurotransmitter is simply a chemical messenger that exists throughout the body. Another thing to know about dopamine is that it is usually concentrated in the substantia nigra and the ventral tegmental area. The substantia nigra is located near the bottom of the brain and plays an important role in muscle movements and coordination. The ventral tegmental area is located near the floor of the midbrain, and that plays a part in motivation, aversion, and even reward. Now, given these previous pieces of information, many of you should be able to draw conclusions about what the function of dopamine is by now. However, many of you would be surprised to find out that dopamine is responsible for a lot more things than making you feel good. Not only is dopamine responsible for your mood, but it also plays a big part in movement, attention, and motivation. It's certainly no wonder why low levels of this chemical are trademark signs of neurodeficiencies like ADHD. Dopamine is released into the brain from the two major areas it is concentrated in through a few different pathways. Some of these major pathways include the nigrostriatal pathway, the mesolimbic pathway, and the mesocortical pathway. Throughout the body, dopamine is removed from synaptic clefts, which are gaps in neurons, by a dopamine transmitter and then passed off to the G-protein coupled receptor in the cell. Specifically, dopamine is used to stimulate or inhibit reactions within specific cells in the body. Dopamine does this by first binding with the G-protein coupled receptor and then moderates the synthesis of adenylate cyclase, which in turn moderates the production of CAMP, or a secondary messenger. Something especially interesting about dopamine is that there's 5 different types. Now, the scientists that discovered this were very creative when they were naming these types of dopamine, naming them D1, D2, D3, D4, and D5. Now, it gets even more confusing when the scientists later found out that these types of dopamine can be classified into 2 different groups, D1-like and D2-like. D1-like includes dopamines 1 and 5, and D2-like includes dopamines 2, 3, and 4. Now, depending on which type of dopamine you get, it can inhibit or stimulate reactions in a cell by opening sodium or potassium channels. This is how dopamine is used to stimulate physical changes in your body, like coordinating your movement or speeding up your heart rate, things like that. Hey, thank you for watching the video to the end. I know I went really fast, but I was really concerned about going over that 3-minute limit. Of course, you never really know how long the video is going to be until you edit it all together. And it turned out this video was barely over 2 minutes long, so oh well, I guess it's just how the cookie crumbles. There's really a lot in dopamine. I mean, there's so many things that it does for us, and there's so many ways that it moves around our body. It was really incredible. I was really astonished when I did the research for this project. So I barely scratched the surface here, but hopefully I helped you to get a base understanding of what this chemical is and what it does for us. So yeah, thank you again for sticking with me to the end of this video, and have a great rest of your day.